Well, let's get started. A little bit early, but we'll go ahead and start swinging. Do you have anything on the agenda this evening?
Yeah, I still got my same problem with OpenWiths. So when I downloaded that Onyx thing and ran that helped some, but it's still
It didn't weed out all of the abilities to open with multiple programs, right?
right. So if you go here and you go Open With,
Yeah. It shows.
hello.
Let's see.
You want to take a look first? You want to see me?
Yeah, let's jump over.
All right.
And you'll see that request on your screen. Let's see.
I mean, it's something I can live with, Scotty, but it just, it's weird.
Well, let's see.
You ready?
Yeah, let me do a little research here, real quick. All right, and we have the terminal commands that we found. Did you look at running any of those?
Like what?
Well, I'll send a couple links over your way right now. It seemed to be the same. Let's see.
Man, that one's even worse than last time. Look at that. Wow.
Okay, so this has to do with launch services. It looks like launch services is a framework, and that framework seems to have not maybe cleared its cache. So I'm going to send you a couple links here. The first one may be a simple terminal command that you can run. Let me copy and paste this into our notes. Hi, Irene. How are you? All right, check that one out, Daryl, that I just posted. And also look at this one as well, but I'm hoping that the first one does it. Now, before you do this, this requires entering in code in terminal. So you want to read through it real carefully and make sure that you know what you're doing. You're following the directions. Usually you could just copy and paste the code that's listed on the website. The person that wrote out the code knows what they're doing. So copy, paste it, put it into terminal. It might ask for your user password, and that should take care of it. These are some old codes, but I see that some people as some pretty recent responses here. It looks like it works. Do you see those? You see those links?
Yeah, just run the link. Is that what you're saying?
No, open the link in a web browser, and then there are instructions on how to do it. There's a terminal command on that web page that you can copy and paste into terminal. Give me a second. Jay Mebbin's having a hard time getting in here. Let's see if I can get him in. All right. So while you're doing that, well, Daryl, do you see those links in the bottom?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. I'm going to pop over to Irene. Irene, are you with us this evening? Irene, can you hear us? She may have stepped away from her computer. If for some reason you are hearing me, Irene, and we're not hearing you, you can type a message at the very bottom of the GoToMeeting control panel there too. And we should be able to maybe figure out what's going on, because it looks like your microphone's on. Maybe she just stepped away. Yeah, Daryl, you see that system/library/frameworks? You want to double click on that line? Yeah, double click on that, or maybe even triple click, 1, 2, 3, and see if you can highlight the entire line.
It looks like it's highlighted.
All right, copy and paste that into TextEdit. So open up TextEdit and let's drop that in and take a look at it. Yeah, there you go. TextEdit is your friend. We want to make sure we're not.
Well, that didn't work.
No? Well, I can paste it. I could probably. I might.
Copy. Hold on. I can get it here. Okay.
Okay. Paste that
There's
into
one.
paste it into TextEdit. Let's see. That looks good. Okay. So delete. Just delete up until you get to the end of the word user. In other words, we want to
Uh,
delete the spaces. So just hit delete.
just hit delete right
Yes.
now?
Yes, hit delete.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, we don't want to copy spaces in. So see if we can delete those spaces out. There you go. All right, and that's fine. Now copy that entire line of text. I see we're starting to fill up here, so we'll move on in a second. And open up Terminal, Spotlight, and search for Terminal. Daryl has a very interesting and off the beaten path problem. It's a little complicated, but basically there's a file that's listing lots and lots of words, and we're trying to clean that file up. It's most of us will never ever have to do this. Okay, are you able to paste that in?
Right here?
Yeah, just click right there where the entry was. Now Command V to paste. All right, let's hit return. All right, and then you'll restart or log out and log back in. Now, and also too, we're just kind of doing this on the fly. You want to read the directions that are actually on the web page and make sure that we're not missing a step. All right. While you do that, I'm going to jump over to Jay. Jay, can you hear us this evening?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right.
Hi,
What's
folks. Happy
going on?
holiday.
What can we do for you?
Well, I've had a couple of interesting problems. I'm on a different computer tonight. My battery went south. And my first question for you is, can I use my MacBook Pro with a dead battery and just my power cable attached to it?
In theory, yes. So what you're asking is the battery has died, and you want to know if you can use with a power cable even though the battery's dead. Is that right?
Right. I've ordered another battery, and it should be here soon.
Okay.
But in the meantime, there's just some convenience information I'd like to be able to use
Yes.
off of it.
You can. Here's the problem, though. If the battery died and you were using the computer and the computer went into sort of a deep sleep, let's say, then there is a way to wake it from that sleep by holding a series of commands down and keyboard commands to possibly say, hey, forget the fact that the battery died. I know the battery died. Let's go straight with the power that's coming from the cable. All right. So, Jay, let me ask you this. Is your computer, this is a laptop, is your computer black keys or silver keys?
Silver.
Okay, great. There's a series of 4 buttons that you're going to hold down, including, or not including the power button. So I think 5 maybe total. Shift, Option, Command, and Power. So I think it's 4 total. Shift,
Okay.
Option, Command,
All right.
and Power.
I'll need to get it and bring it. So that's hopeful. I'll
Yeah.
bring it back to us later on in our session.
Yes, and
My-
so what happens is when you hold that series of keys down, it sort of knocks the computer out completely in hope that the computer will wake back up, realizing that the battery is hopeless and it's just going to skip over that. Now, and I'll look the instructions up exactly here in a moment, but I don't know if off the top of my head whether or not that needs to be done without the power plugged in or with the power plugged in, but there is a there is a procedure. Let's see, resetting the gosh, I can't remember the terminology. PCU, power reset, power management, PMU. There it is, PMU. It took me a second to bring it back up in my brain.
Maybe we should knock you a little bit so that your brain will bypass the power there.
This is what we're looking for here, the resetting the PMU. Although they changed the PMU to something else. Let's see, PMU.
Is there risk associated with doing this?
No. PMU became. Gosh, what is the word? Shoot, trying to look it up. For those of you who just joined us, we'll get to you in just a second. Let's see, PMU. Gosh, it's been so long since I did it. But there's a command. It's not the PMU. It's the power management. Let's see. Reset menu on MacBook Pro. Google is smarter than we are. System Management Controller, SMC. That's what I was looking for. The SMC. Of course, everybody should know the SMC. This is the article that you want to look at that might help you. So I'm going to take this article and drop it into the notes down here, Jay, just in case.
Okay.
Just in case we're moving on to other things and you come back with it, you can click on that link and there's a set of instructions on how to do this. So Apple's provided that. And in here they say whether or not the power cable needs to be plugged in or not plugged in. But that's going to help wake that back up even though the battery has died, I think. All right?
Okay.
Although, with that said, I've got a computer sitting over here right now that has the exact same problem and I've not been able to revive it.
Well, and you told me once too, Scotty, that there was something we could, I've been trying to recharge this battery, and you told me once that there was something I could do with the button on the back that would tell me if the battery could be revived, a series of flashes on the older Mac Pro. Do you remember that, where the battery, I'd hold down the button and the little lights would flash across or something like that?
This is on a Mac Pro Tower?
No, sir. On a Mac. Let me read exactly what it is.
Yeah, on a MacBook Pro.
It's a. Forgive me, folks. MacBook Pro. That's right. Silver key.
Yeah. Well, the battery does have a series of small LEDs that are in, I think, green, that when you press it, it shows you how the battery feels. Once you get to the point where you boot the computer up, for those of you who have laptops, and I think Hetty that's joined us, she just recently replaced her battery, didn't you, Hetty?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and so she's gone through a similar thing where we were able to see how many times her old battery had been charged. Generally, the rule of thumb is about after 350 charges or so, the battery just completely gives out. It can't be recharged any more cycles, and you got to get a new one. And that's kind of where you are right now, Jay.
Right. And I have found a good place for a good source for replacing the battery that I'm happy to share later on in our town hall. I know I've probably taken up my turn.
Well, I'm gonna. All right, we'll come back. I do want to hear that source. I'm gonna try to jump over to Irene, who joined in earlier, but I haven't heard from her. Irene, are you with us?
I am.
All right.
How are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Well, tell me what's going on. Do you bring some problems with you today, or are you tidings of good joy?
Well, again, when I go over to the left, when I've got Pandora, and when I go over to the left to check the where I want to listen to my music, it says computer, and I used to be able to hit the other button, but I don't have the other button so that it plays in the living room now.
Well, let's jump over. Can we jump over and take a look at your screen?
Sure.
All right. Let me see if I can get over to you. I'm going to send a request for me to look at your screen, and everybody's going to see your screen, and also for me to be able to control the mouse and keyboard. So you're going to see a button now that says Show My Screen. So click that Show My Screen button, and then there's also going to be a button that says Give Control to, I think it might even say Scotty. So give me control. Do you see that? Do you see that button that's appeared? It might be, Irene, it might be covered up by another window. So maybe you move a window out of the way and you'll see that there's a message on your screen that says, Show My Screen. All right.
I don't see it.
Yeah, we didn't make it all the way over here. All right, Irene, I'm going to take that. I'm going to, for some reason I didn't get it, so I'm going to go make myself the presenter again. Sometimes our GoToMeeting software doesn't work the way we want it to. So I'm going to go back to Show My Screen, and now I'm going to send that message back over to you again. Let's see. Let's try this again. All right, Irene, do you see the message Show My Screen on your computer?
I do.
All right, click that button that says show my screen.
Okay. I did.
All right, let's see. All right, now we can see your screen. Excellent. Okay, let's take a look at your problem. You were talking about that Pandora application, which is, I believe, the icon in your dock is the icon or the picture of a little jelly jar or a jam
Right.
jar. All right, so
Uh-huh.
open that program up for us. Pandora Jam. Okay, and so what you're talking about here, Irene, is that when you are looking at the computer button, it used to be, and most of the time, it's that those other speakers in your other room show up. Is that correct?
Right.
And so click on it again. Let's take a look and see that it doesn't show. All right, and it doesn't look like it's showing.
Uh,
As I recall, Irene, if you go up to the top area of your computer, you see that little fan, and it's got gray bars in it right now. You see the fan way up near the time in the very top of your computer, the top right-hand area. Do you see that? At the very top of your computer, to the left of your name and to the left of the time, there's a little gray fan. Do you? It's at the very, yeah, that's right up there. And
uh-huh.
but it's not the circle. It's two more pictures over.
To the right.
Yes. That's it. That's it. That is an important part of this. Now, because you're on the internet with us right now and we're having a meeting, I know that you're on the internet, and you're on the internet because there's a cable plugged up behind in the back of your computer, Irene. That's giving you the internet. However, that little icon, that little picture up there at the top, that is the key to all this. I remember that when we set your computer up, and we've done this before, and I think we're going to be successful again, when we set your computer is set to create its own Wi-Fi network in your living space. And you have some speakers over in the other room that are looking to join the Wi-Fi network. So what we need to do, Irene, is get that little tool, that little picture up there to send out your internet. All right. Now, for everybody else listening, no one else in this room is going to be doing this probably because everybody else has a Wi-Fi router, but Irene doesn't have a Wi-Fi router, so she's using her computer to be a Wi-Fi router. This is a little trick. If you don't have a Wi-Fi router, you can actually use your computer's airport network to make Wi-Fi in the house. So, Irene, to do this, we're going to go to System Preferences. So go to the black apple in the top left-hand corner all the way to the left, and we're going to find System Preferences underneath that black apple. So Irene, move your mouse all the way over to the black apple on the far left-hand corner. Now click on that black apple, and you'll see a drop-down window. Yep, and there's System Preferences, the fourth item down. So select System Preferences. Yep. And now we're going to go to sharing because we're going to share our internet connection. So it's the third line all the way to the end. And the reason that this fell off, Irene, I believe, is you may have restarted your Mac, and when you restarted it, it might not have started that sharing again. So click the sharing button there. You're exactly right. And we want to look for internet sharing. All right, now you see that internet sharing is turned on. You see it's got a check by it.
Right.
The problem is that all looks like it's set up right. And it looks like it's checked. And if we go over to the right-hand side, we can see our sentence sort of says, share your connection from Ethernet, that's the wire, to other computers using my Wi-Fi. So that's all set up right. The problem is something went wrong because when I look up at that gray little fan, we'll call it the fan up at the top, that fan, it's supposed to have an arrow pointing straight up. Now, for no one else in this room listening to right now, should you have an arrow pointed up, only Irene. So, but Irene, we need to get that arrow back. So here's what I want you to do, Irene. Take your mouse and go over to the internet sharing where that blue box is checked. All right, uncheck that. All right, and let's look at Wi-Fi options. While we've got it, go over to the far right and you'll see a little button that says Wi-Fi options. It's on the bottom right of that window. So go to the right. That's right. That's exactly right. And open that Wi-Fi. Yep. And what this button does, you can click on that. And what this button does is it says, okay, well, we're going to broadcast out the words Irene's iMac. And in the other room, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your speakers are waiting for Irene's iMac network to show up. It's just sitting there waiting for you. So go ahead and hit OK on that. You can hit the blue button. That's right. So everything looks right. Now let's go back and press that internet sharing button again on the left-hand side. So basically all we're doing is restarting it. And it's saying, are you sure you want to do this? And that's fine. We want to hit the white start button. Now we're going to glance up to the right and we'll look at that fan. That fan is now has the arrow. Now that that fan has an arrow, Irene, I'm hoping, I'm crossing my fingers, that your speakers have all of a sudden found the network that your computer is broadcasting out, and they've joined us. So let's hit this red button to close that window, the one that we're just working on. We're going to get that out of the way. So in the top left-hand corner, there's a red button, and you want to hit that red button. Irene, are you with us?
I did.
Okay, good. I'm a little bit behind you. Okay, do this for me too. Let's go ahead and quit Pandora Jam and restart it. So what I want you to do is take your mouse all the way to the top where it says the words Pandora Jam right next to the black apple. All the way to the top. And you're going to click on the word Pandora Jam all the way at the top of your computer on the far right, left. That's correct. Select that. And then you're going to go down to, so select Pandora Jam. And you're going to go down to Quit Pandora Jam. All right. Now we've quit Pandora Jam. Let's open it back again. So let's go back down to the icon that the picture that you use in the bottom, and let's hit Pandora Jam, and let's start this thing back up, and let's all cross our fingers and hope that that speaker shows up. All right, so after this gets started, Irene, go back over and let's see if we can choose those speakers, if those speakers exist.
Right.
Champion! You got it.
Yay.
All right, now, Irene, that was fantastic. That's a lot of steps.
Outstanding.
That was a touchdown. That was a lot of steps. I understand, Irene, but what happened was, I think when you restarted your computer, the computer forgot to restart that Wi-Fi network. So if you want to jot something down, if you want to hold on, I'm going to try to get to some other people's questions, but if you want to go back and you want to write down those steps, I'll be happy to go through them with you again, so you can jot them down. But at the same time, Irene, this is all recorded on my website, and you can go to my website as of probably tomorrow, and this will all be recorded, and you can kind of watch this go by. Okay, Irene?
Okay.
All right.
What is your website?
Salesconsulting.com. So I tell you what I'm going to do, Irene. I'm going to jump over to my screen, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here.
Okay.
For everybody else in the meeting tonight, sometimes I go a little bit fast with people, and I go over things.
Not Scotty.
Yeah, I go over things a little bit more quickly than I should, but I keep in mind all this is recording. So I record everything. So we're recording right now, and my internet connection might be a little slow. Irene, if you ever want to watch back over one of these that we're talking about tonight, you go to the previous town halls section. So my website is salesconsulting.com, and you go to the previous area. If you click on previous town halls, in that previous town halls, I've got recording after recording after recording of basically what we're doing right now. So you could click on one of these and you could watch it back, including the one tonight. I'll post it probably late tonight or tomorrow, and it'll say something like December 17th, and you can listen back to the instructions if you ever get kind of lost. All right?
Right.
All right, I'm going to jump over to Hetty, who I think is next, and then Cheryl, I see that you're around too. We'll get to you in a moment. Hetty, what have you got this evening?
Oh,
Thank you,
it's
Scotty.
a miracle I got on.
Yeah, very good. Excellent.
Yeah. I have a quick question.
Okay.
You suggested I get a backup deal.
Yes.
So I got the Seagate Backup Plus.
Okay.
It says it's Mac compatible. I got home, futzed around, it didn't work, and then I realized that it's compatible with 10.6 or higher
Okay.
version, and mine is 10.58.
All right. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Do you have it in front of you? Do you have your hard drive nearby? That
My
that
hard
backup drive.
Yes, I do.
Hold it up to the camera here. Okay, that should be fine. Hold it up a little bit higher for me, just a little bit higher. All right, that should be fine. Do you have it out of the box?
I did, but I put it all back because I couldn't get the darn thing to work.
I bet you anything we're going to get it to work. I bet we're going to get it to work. So
Well, you're always magic, so I don't doubt it.
no, I don't think we're going to have a problem here. I hate that they put 10.6 on the box, but that hard drive should work in 10.5. So Hetty's on 10.5, but 10.5 for everybody still has Time Machine. Some of us have moved on past 10.5, but 10.5 still has Time Machine, and we should still be able to back up. So
Well, I
Hetty,
was wondering if I should update it.
well, that's a very difficult thing from 10.5. Let's pause on that conversation. Let's get this backup
Okay.
going first.
Okay, I'm plugged in.
All right, I'm going to ask to see your screen if that's okay. So hide all the crazy pictures, and
Oh, darn, I
you're
forgot.
going to see the same message here. But this will help us. So you should see a message that says "Show my screen" or "Share my
It says,
screen."
You have been made the presenter.
You are.
Please.
So I hope you did your homework. Get ready to present to all of us, and then hit that
Oh my
"Show
God.
my screen." We're all in. We want to see a good show here, so you better have something ready.
What do I need?
Well, you want to hit the button that says "Show my screen."
So sorry.
That's okay. The first time you do it, it takes a while.
Idiot proof. Okay.
It's not
I
the
did it.
easiest thing. So the first time you see that, that's it. Okay, perfect. Now, if you will do this for us, will you hit the yellow buttons to close all these windows? So you know when you hover over and you got green, red, and yellow, hit yellow so we get them all out of there. Do you know what I mean?
Like the Hungarian anthem?
Yeah, we want to move that out of the way so we're not seeing it. So that's good. And let's move that one out of the way. And let's also hit the yellow button on this other one as well. So we're just going to get them all out of the way. Yeah. Okay. Now we see that yellow Seagate drive is sitting on your desktop. And that's totally fine. That's what we want. So let's open up System Preferences. And we're going to go through a similar thing that Irene did. Everything happens in System Preferences. So you're correct. Black Apple, System Preferences.
Well, I clicked system. Here it is. Okay.
All right, and that'll take a second to open. And then on the second to last line, we see Time Machine. So go and select Time Machine. It's on the very far right over there. Yep. All right. Now, we see it says Choose Backup. So let's select to choose the backup disk. All right. Now we should see, and there it is, there's that Seagate. It's sitting there and it's waiting. It's saying, we are ready to go. However, notice in the little small gray letters, it says reformat is required. Now what that means is that, and this is nothing, there's nothing wrong with this. This is totally fine. But what that means is that when you bought the hard drive, when Seagate made it and they put it in the box, they formatted it for a Windows machine. But it will completely work on a Mac. A hard drive is a hard drive. So in a moment, when we select this and we hit use it, it's going to say, oh, we have to erase this drive. But from what I've heard from you, you just bought it from the store, so there's nothing on it that you care about, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm just preparing you for the word erase, and that's okay. So select the yellow button at the top there. No, not that yellow button. I'm sorry.
Oh,
What did you do? No, I'm just kidding. That's okay. Go back to
Crashed
System
the
Preferences.
Let's see, where are we here? Which one?
The little gear switch, the
Is it
little
this one?
gray.
There you are.
That's
Okay.
good. All right. So
That-
the picture of the hard drive, the yellow picture of the hard drive. Nope, not that. Yes, where it says Seagate Backup. You're going to click on
So
that.
this one here.
Yes. So click on
There's
that.
nothing here.
That's right. Click that. You're almost there. Click on that where it says the word Seagate. That's it. Click on that. That's what we want right there.
See, but everybody's to know I'm a total illiterate, so.
No, we have all been there, all of us. So now you're going to say use for backup, and it's going to give you that dirty message. How dare you use this? It needs to be erased, and that's okay. So now we want to hit erase. This is
Erase.
white, not the blue. Yes, the white erase. That's right. Hit that. Okay. Time Machine is reformatting that hard drive. It's wiping it. It's taking all the Windows mess off, and it's putting all the Mac stuff on. And then your hard drive is now ready to be backed up. That's good. You see where it says off, and look, it's just switched over. And look what it just says. Use as a backup. Hit that use as backup button. Yep. You're in business. Now, for the rest of your computer's life, Hetty, all you need to do is plug this thing in occasionally. All right?
Okay.
In about
It's
2 minutes, it's
Time
going to start.
machine off.
Yeah, and that's fine. You can close this. You don't even have to worry about it anymore. You don't really ever have to go back to this area. So Time Machine is a very good piece of software. I love it. I can't say enough good about it, really, because for us, most of us, it's plenty backup for all we need. It's running in the background all the time. It doesn't take up a lot of processor power for the most part. So in about 60 seconds, if you go and you look at your fan at the top where we were talking about before, Hetty, at the very top, you see your fan. Over to the left, you see a round clock.
I
A
don't.
little bit higher. That clock right there, yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is the symbol that represents what Time Machine is doing. So if you click on that, it probably is saying preparing to back up or waiting to back up. All right. In about 40 seconds, that's going to start. And you don't even have to do anything. It's set to do it. All you need to do is plug it in occasionally. Now, the very first time it backs up, Hetty, let me finish. The first time it backs up, it's going to take a long time to do it. After it does its first backup here in just a few minutes, then every time you plug it up in the future, it won't take but maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Right? What were you going to say?
So the first time for backing up, it says here backup now.
You don't even
So
have to
I
do
won't
that.
have to do that this time, you say.
Yeah, if you look down, there's a little clock that's ticking down. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds. It's getting ready to start on its own.
Ah.
So before you even do anything, it's going to do it on its own. So now it's running on its own.
Huh.
And you see that little progress bar? You will never see that again after it does it the first time.
Okay.
There you go. So it's backing up 40 gigabytes of data, 40 gigs of information that was on your computer. That's everything. That's your applications, your documents, your music, your pictures. Everything is being backed up onto that external hard drive.
Yay.
All right. You're in
So
business.
all I have to do from now on is occasionally plug it in, period.
That's exactly right. Plug it in, let it roll, and unplug it. Now, there is a polite way to unplug it. And I'm going to show you the polite way to unplug it, but I'm going to jump over to my computer to look at it. So for all of us, the polite way to unplug these devices, and if you look at my desktop, I've got, whoops, not my phone here. If you look at my desktop, I've got several hard drives plugged up here. All of them are yellow hard drives, which means that Time Machine is not being used for any of these. On this computer, believe it or not, I don't back this computer up. This is not a computer that I care about backing up. I don't have much stuff on this. But this computer, when I'm ready to eject that drive, Hetty, I could just unplug it. And if I unplug it, my computer's going to give me a nasty message. How dare you do this? Do you realize that the world is going to end if you do that? So there's an easier way to do it. When you start dragging this, if you drag it toward the trash, your trash, the picture of your trash in the dock, it becomes an eject icon. And so you could just drag it to the trash. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to do a right click or a 2-finger click to get that right click menu, and you could choose to eject. If you don't like either of those ways, there's another way. You could select it and hit the Command E on your keyboard.
Command E.
Command E. So that I've shown you, you could drag it to the trash. You could right click on it. You could select it and hit Command E, but there is one more, even easier way. If you select it and go way up to the top of your menu bar and you go to the word File, you will find that eject command, and you could eject it that way. Now, the good news, and the last thing I'm going to say about this, the good news here, Hetty, is that if you unplug it in the middle and it yells at you, don't worry. Apple's engineers are smarter than you are, and they realize that, that's a mean thing to say, but they're smarter than all of us are, and they realize that all of us unplug these things at inopportune times. And they have built in a buffer, so they still send you the dirty message, but it's not the end of the world. All right?
Thank you so much.
No problem. That's a very good question to ask. All
Oh,
right,
you were
Cheryl.
great. I appreciate
Cheryl,
it.
are you with us? No problem. Cheryl, are you with us tonight?
Yep, I only had one question for my iPad, but now you just popped up a whole bunch of questions with this time machine and everything.
Okay, well, start with what.
Um,
And Cheryl has been in our meetings for quite some time now, and I think that her knowledge has increased quite a bit. So, Cheryl, I'm hoping, and I'm betting that some of the questions that you ask now are going to be probably more advanced than some of your first questions. So let's hear. Let's hear 'em.
well, I have not yet, probably for Christmas, gotten a Seagate backup for my Mac. I have the Seagate backup that I had purchased for the Vista and the XP and
Yeah.
whatever else I have here. But I've had it plugged into my Mac for a long time.
Yeah.
But when you mentioned about that clock thing, mine's not lit up at all.
Right.
And I guess my first question is, should I use Time Machine until I get a backup?
So the answer to that question is absolutely. However,
Okay.
with the hard drive that you have plugged in,
Uh-huh.
this is extremely related to what Hetty just went through. You remember when we saw in Hetty's issue, it said reformat required?
Yeah.
Okay, if you take a Windows hard drive, so let's say this hard drive that I've got right here is formatted for Windows. Let's say I pulled it out of an HP laptop. Now this will work with my computer. I could plug it up to a wire and I could use it. The problem is it's formatted in the language of Windows. Now, if I plug it up, it can be used as a storage device. Macs can read Windows drives. Now, if I took a Mac hard drive, one that I pulled out of a Macintosh computer, and I plugged it up to a Windows machine, the Windows machine would say, "What is this? I don't understand this. I don't understand what any of this is." So it would be unrecognizable. It would basically be like it's a worthless thing that didn't work. But the Windows machine does work. The Windows hard drive does work, except for when you use Time Machine. Time Machine wants a hard drive that is formatted for the Mac. So my bet, from what you just told me, Cheryl, a minute ago, I bet that the hard drive that you have connected right now, if you have a hard drive physically connected, I bet that it's formatted for Windows. Meaning,
Well, yeah, I didn't want to use this for a backup. I only wanted to use it to view my Windows documents in Mac. And so I'm hoping that it hasn't been, backing up on this thing.
It would be impossible for it to be unless it erased it. So in your case,
and if it erased it, I wouldn't be able to view my documents, right?
Exactly. That's exactly
and
right.
I have been able to view them. So yes, I should use Time Machine, and should I unplug this first before using the Time Machine?
That's a good idea to do that, because when you go through your little reformat, let's say you go out and you buy a brand new drive. And just like Hetty did, you buy a brand new drive, you bring it in, you plug it up, it says reformat required. When I reformat a hard drive, I like to unplug the other drives that that are plugged up to my computer, just in case the computer makes a mistake and accidentally reformats the wrong drive. So it's not a bad idea to unplug that hard drive, plug the drive in you want to use, and then your computer will reformat that. Time Machine will start backing up your internal hard drive in your iMac, and it'll drop that information onto the external hard drive.
Oh, yeah, and I just got that nasty message from plugging it, too.
Yeah, that's okay. Now, Time Machine will not, I repeat, Time Machine will not back up a Windows formatted hard drive that's connected. Time Machine will back up other hard drives that are connected, but if they're formatted in Windows, they will not. Now, if you want to know, is my hard drive formatted for Windows or not, you select it one time. It's usually sitting on your desktop. You select it one time and you click Command-I. And when you go Command-I on the hard drive, it tells you about it. This hard drive is formatted Mac OS. That means a Mac. This hard drive, Command-I, is formatted for Mac OS. And of course, you know that this one is going to be too, because I'm a Mac guy and I don't really have a reason for a Windows formatted drive. Give me just a second. Playroom behind the couch. All right. So all of these are formatted
What was that command what?
Say that again, Cheryl.
What was that command what?
Command-I. Anytime you want to learn something about a file or something, you click on it one time, and if you go Command-I, it pulls up information about that file. That's a very
Yeah.
useful thing to have.
Wait, did I have to click on that free agent drive first?
Yes, you do. Click on it one time and go Command I. Another way to get to it is right click and choose Get Info. That's the same thing. You could choose right
Okay,
click,
yeah, it says Format Windows NT File System.
which means that Time Machine can't use it. The Mac can use it to look at stuff, and you can even store stuff on it, but Time Machine will not use it. All right?
And so, since I've never used Time Machine before, I should unplug it, and then do I just hit Time Machine and it will automatically start doing its thing?
You have to have a hard drive. You have to have a hard drive.
Time Machine, you have to have a hard drive for.
Yes, Time Machine is a piece of software that copies over your information to an external hard drive. And that's why Hetty was showing us with a box that she went out and bought an external hard drive.
Mhm.
So you have to have another hard drive. And while I'm on that subject, there are two types of hard drives in this world. Hard drives that you store things on and hard drives that you back things up with. A storage drive and a backup drive. A storage drive and a backup drive. You should not have one hard drive that you back up to and you store things on. Because if you're storing something on that, then it's not being backed up. A hard drive cannot back itself up. So your data needs to be in multiple places, at least 2 places. So
that music isn't me. I don't know who that's coming from.
that's okay. We'll live through it for a moment. It's classical music. Although the proper term is classic music. Classical is a period of music, like Romantic and Baroque. So when people say
coming from someone that has a master's in music.
Right, that's right. It bothers me when people say classical music because I don't consider that correct, unless they're talking about the classical period. But most of the time, they're not.
From the greatest university in the South.
That's right. Yeah, Daryl and I went to the same. We have the same alma mater, University of Miami, from back in the day. I thought he was going to pull out a University of Miami mug. Okay, so we've addressed that. Let's jump back up and
Stand by.
I can't remember who I went to, but I think.
Well, let me get back and ask you, please, sir, that command series, because when I went to the support Apple link, it didn't tell me
Oh,
that series of commands.
let's take a look at it again. Let's see if that will do it. Okay, on that guy, it may be. See, there are 2 levels of MacBook Pros, by the way. And if you go down to the bottom down here, let's see.
Lights, power.
Can remove. Here it is right here. Okay, so basically what they're saying is disconnect the power adapter, remove the battery, hold the power button down for 5 seconds, release the power, plug it back up, see if it works. So again, unplug the power adapter.
All right, unplug the power adapter.
Remove the battery.
Remove the battery, yeah.
Hold the power button on the laptop down for 5 seconds.
With no power.
With no power and no battery.
No power, no battery. See, okay.
Okay. All right, and then you let that go. And lastly, plug the power adapter back up, and you can choose to put the battery back in and see if it powers on. Drum roll. I happen to have some sticks right here. Drum roll. Well, nothing. Didn't power on.
Nope.
All right. So with the power adapter on, is there a light on the power adapter, Jay? Like it may be orange or red or green?
Orange.
Okay. So with that light, you're going to keep an eye out on that light, and you're going to go with the power adapter, the power button on your right hand, and on your left hand, you're going to use Shift Option Command.
Got it?
All right. You're going to
Those are pressed.
You're going to press it down, hold it for about 3 seconds, look at that power light, and see if the power light goes off, and then let it back up again.
I'm confused. What are you guys working on?
Jay has a laptop whose battery died, and when the battery died...
The power light stays on.
Okay, all right. So now hit the power button one time. He has a laptop that the battery died in, and we're trying to bring this laptop back to life.
Gotcha.
We bring it back to life.
All right, let's try one more thing, Jay. One more
Okay.
thing. We're going to hold down a series of 4 buttons in your left hand. Command, Control, Option, Shift.
All right. Command is the apple.
Yes, Apple,
Command,
Control, Option, Shift, and the power button in your right hand. Press that and hold it down for about 1 or 2 seconds and let it right back up. All right, now hit the power button, and this is all I got. Okay, last thing you can try is unplug it completely, pull the battery out, let the thing die completely. Now, people don't know this, but there's actually a small little backup battery in the computer, and I think that's what the problem is the backup battery will drain down over about 1 or 2 days, and then then you can plug it up and you should be able to bring it back to life. I don't know that that's going to work.
It's all right.
Yeah, just unplug it, see if you can let it drain down. Like I said, I have a computer that's doing the exact same thing right now that I've been unable to bring back to life. And one of the problems with these batteries, here's 2, just like what you're talking about. One of the problems with these batteries is that over time, the chemicals in these batteries will react with each other in such a way that they explode and the battery will increase in size. So over a period of time, that kind of happens, at least on these older batteries. So I would be willing to bet that, I don't know if you can see this one, this battery actually seems to have a little bit of life because the battery is lit up. See, I've got a little LED
See this
there.
brown spot? See this little brown spot right here? I
mean,
I can get the see the one little light LED that flashes.
Oh, really?
Well,
Well,
we're going to hang this on my Christmas tree.
Well, it may be that the battery still has a little bit of life. Either the battery can't be charged, or there's a different problem. It might not be the battery, and it might be the actual what's called the DCN board on your computer. I'm going to move on here, so I'm going to keep moving here because I'm running into getting a little bit delayed.
Go ahead.
All right,
Thank
Daryl,
you.
let's go back. You put that terminal command in, Daryl, and how did that go?
That seemed to work, Scotty.
Right.
It's got. If you want to come look, you can see all that stuff is gone.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump over there and take a look. And I have an announcement to make, by the way, for anyone listening. I have now crossed into the realm of I have to wear reading glasses. I'm at the point now where my eyes won't focus, and I've got to use these reading glasses now. So
Looking good, Scotty.
you see me put those on, yeah, I know that's what everybody says. Welcome to the club.
Looking good.
I know as I was reading things, I read magazines, and I saw that I kept having to move it further and further away to focus. So
The print's getting smaller.
yeah. Well, luckily on laptops you could do this double tap and the print enlarges.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Daryl, that looks great. That looks fantastic.
Okay, so now I have a second question.
Okay, take it.
For today, tonight. When I replaced my hard drive, they named it something other than Macintosh HD.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's totally fine. When I replace a person's hard drive, normally I name it Mac HD so that if I walk back into the person's home or business and I glance down at it, I can remember, oh, you know what, I probably named that.
So there's no hard code stuff in any of these apps that's
No.
looking for the word Macintosh when it's clearing cache or anything like that?
Not at all. Not at all. That's totally fine. And it's actually a good thing because if you have 10 computers or multiple drives, I've got computers all over the place. I want to name those hard drives something different. All of my drives are named something different so that when I look at them on the network, I know which hard drive I'm looking at. Am I looking at 160 HD or 1 TB boot HD or,
Right. Well, as you can see, they named it Mac HD.
Oh, they do the same thing I do. Maybe I got
Yeah.
it from them. I don't know.
Well, maybe so. So that's not a problem.
Yeah, totally fine. All right. I'm going to jump over to Irene. Irene, you still hanging with us?
I'm here.
Did you want to go through those instructions and kind of jot down a troubleshooting step or two?
If you have time, I would like to.
We do. Let's jump over to your screen again. Let's see if we can make this happen. So I'm going to send that message over to you again, Irene. So you should see on your screen for us to be able to, you're going to share my screen or show my screen. So that button should be there. That should be on your screen now. That's it. Okay. So are you going to write this down with a pen and paper?
I am.
Okay. So when you cannot check or when you cannot connect to your speakers, one of the things that you want to first do is glance up at the top to make sure that there is an arrow sticking up in that fan area. So step 1, check for an arrow.
Okay.
All right. Step 2, go to the black apple and open up System Preferences.
Okay.
Step 3, go to the Sharing button in System Preferences.
Okay.
And let's walk through this with each other. And I'm actually going to do this. I'm controlling your computer right now, Irene. So I go to that black apple and let's see. I'm waiting for that to pop up here. My connection might be a little slow. I'm trying to. Irene, will you open the System Preferences for us? I'm not able to do that from here. So you move your go to the black apple and go down to System Preferences.
And go down to what?
System Preferences.
Okay.
Okay. So you've written down the step of next going to the Sharing button, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Next thing, you're going to click on the Sharing button. And all you really need to do, and I've already done that part. Did you write down to click on the Sharing?
It went off the screen before I could click on it.
Oh, yeah, I did that. I'll put it back to where.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm controlling your computer.
Okay.
So you're going to click on the Sharing button. Did you write that down?
I got that.
All right. And I just did that. Now, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to go over to where it says Internet Sharing. It's a blue box. Okay?
Uh-huh.
And you're going to uncheck and recheck it. So you're going to turn it off and turn it back on.
Okay.
Your final result should be that there's a blue box with a check next to Internet Sharing. And way up at the top, you should have that arrow. Okay?
Right.
If you ever walk in from the other room and you glance at your computer and that arrow is not there up at the top, then you're not going to play music. The only way your music's going to get over to those speakers if that arrow is there. All right?
Right.
So for you, until further notice, that arrow needs to be there all the time. And if it's not, if it's fallen off, you come over to, we're going to review real quick. You're going to go to the black apple. You select System Preferences, and here's our System Preferences. You're going to go to Sharing, and you're going to turn off and turn back on Internet Sharing. Okay?
Right.
That should do it.
I really appreciate it, Scotty.
No problem. I'm glad I could help tonight. Let's see. I'm not sure. Hetty, did you have another issue that we wanted to hit?
Well, it's still downloading. It's taking longer than I thought it would.
Remind me. Oh, the backup. Yeah, that backup could take an hour. Yeah, just let it go.
Good.
Let it go on its own. That's totally fine.
I think I'm set.
All right, excellent. Cheryl, did you have another follow-up question? Of course.
Yeah, the iPad. I was trying to figure out how to turn off that when you're trying to type and it changes words on you.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts. And I think it's under keyboard. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Under general, and then I clicked on keyboard, and there's auto capitalization, auto correction, check spelling,
Let's see.
Um,
Yeah, auto correction will do it for you if you turn that off. Uh,
okay.
one
I
of the
think that's
things that I have found more and more useful now is I type less and less on my actual computer, uh, or on my device. I now speak most of the things that I want to type in.
you can
Uh,
do that with the iPad.
yes, you. Well, it depends on what model. Is this the original iPad, the very first one, or have you gotten it in the last couple of years?
Um, got the box right here. How would I know?
Well, why don't we do this? Take a look at your iPad. You have the iPad in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, first thing we need to do is see if you're up to date on your operating system. So,
Gosh, I don't use this iPad much. I told you I hated it.
yeah, my goodness.
I know, that's what you said before.
I know, speaking blasphemy around me. But now you're going to go to the find your
Well,
iPad and go to the
it was
settings.
trying to learn a Mac and an iPad at the same time. It wasn't working.
Yeah.
And they sold it to me both at the same time. So, okay, do what? Start where?
Well, do you see the settings menu? It's a little gray
Yeah,
gear switch.
I'm under settings.
Okay, select that. Now, let me get. You see where it says about? About.
Okay, yeah, I found it.
All right, select that about, and we're going to go down to where it says version. Now, you're either on version 4, 5, or 6. What version?
4.3.5.
Okay. Let me ask you another question then. On
No,
the
it says
side, say that
in
again?
parentheses it has
Yeah, that's
8L1.
yeah, that's okay. That's the build. That's unimportant. That version 4, there is a new version out that's available. Now, I don't know if your iPad is the original iPad or the one that came after that. But the ones that came after that, I don't know if the iPad 2 will do this, but it has voice dictation built in. So for the newest, and I'm looking at an iPhone, but it's the same operating system. So if I wanted to write an email or write a note, let's say I'm going to write an email and I'm going to say here, and I'm ready to type in the field. Notice there's a microphone down there. Now, the microphone is not going to update until you. It's not going to show up until you've updated your iPad, and you have to have a recent iPad within the last couple of years. But if you have that microphone, once you've done the update, you hit that microphone and watch this. This is the greatest thing in the world. Hello, comma, I am writing an email by only speaking, period. I hope that everyone is amazed at this new technology, exclamation point. There it is.
How do I update the iPad?
Well, that's weird. I'm all of a sudden I started playing something. Let me stop my podcast here. It's weird. Okay. How do you update your iPad? Good question. You plug it up with a cable. Are you still with me, Cheryl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plug it up with a cable, and you're going to go into iTunes. And over on the left-hand side, let me see if I can get my iTunes back up and running here. Over on the left-hand side, you will see your iPad is listed. You're going to select your iPad on the left-hand side. Once you've selected it, you'll see up here at the top it says check for update. You click that check for update. It's going to say, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? It's been forever since you did this. Yes, we have an update available. Now, if the update says version 5, then you have an older iPad. If the update says version 6, then you have a newer iPad, and that little voice technology that I just showed you will probably be available on your iPad. It is not available in 5. It is only available in 6, if I'm not mistaken. And maybe I am. Okay?
Okay, I'll listen to your video when you get it on tomorrow for those steps.
Well, I'll go through it one more time to make sure. You'll plug your device up to iTunes. You're gonna plug it up to your computer.
I won't be able to see what you're talking about until I plug it in. Is that it?
Right. You have to open up iTunes. So you go find iTunes on your computer and open it up. You plug up your device to your computer, and once you plug your device up, iPod or iPad or iPhone, over on the left-hand side, you will see the name of your device. Click on that name of that device, and when you do, you'll have the ability to do things with this iPad. One of which is to check for updates. You click check for updates, and it'll either say yes, there's an update, or no, there's not an update. But it's going to say yes, there's an update. The
This is
question,
probably a crazy
yeah,
question, but how do I hook it up to the computer?
that's not a crazy question at all. You need a cable. The exact same cable that you use to charge it or power it.
Oh, it's a big one? Okay.
On one end, there's the cable that goes in to charge it. On the other end, there's a USB port, and the USB cable, looks like that, except it's white.
So
And
it's the same cord
it
that's
is.
upstairs where we normally charge it.
That's right, and you just plug
And
it
I
up to the back of your computer.
and you use the iMac to go to iTunes, not the iPad to go to iTunes.
That's exactly right. Now,
Okay.
you're exactly right. Now, not to blow your mind or give you too much information, which I'm very guilty of doing very often. Once all of these devices got to iOS 5, and you're not at iOS 5 yet, you're at iOS 4. Once Apple got everybody to iOS 5, there is no longer a need to plug up to update your device. After iOS 5, people could start updating their devices without having a computer. Apple knows that one day there are going to be lots of people that have iPads and they don't have computers. There can be a lot of people that only go out and buy an iPad and they do not have a laptop or they do not have an iMac. So they built in the ability to update this device without having to plug up a cable. So, but
So
for
will I have to
you,
do that every time
no.
to update it?
You're going to only get to iOS 5. Once you get to iOS 5, you really don't have to plug your cable up anymore for the most part to do all the fun stuff that an iPad will do, which we'll talk about another time.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes, thank you.
All right. I believe this session that I recorded tonight will not have the video cameras on. I believe it's just going to be the desktop, so it's going to be kind of boring looking without people. But I really do appreciate when people use their cameras. I'm still working on my recording, and I'm having a hard time recording. So I think the method I'm using tonight is actually not recording our video, so which is a good thing sometimes. Okay, does anybody have anything else? I'm going to close out for the night. Anybody have one more thing?
Scotty, what's that app on your phone called My Day?
That is how I schedule. That's my scheduling software. It's a piece of software. You're not going to use it unless you schedule things. So if I click here, it gives me a breakdown of my schedule for the day. So this was my schedule today. This is everywhere that I went, and I can go in and it's not something that you're going to use. I have to pay a service to use this called FreshBooks.
Okay. I see you've got the new Google Maps.
I do. Have you used it?
I have.
What is your feedback on the new Google Maps?
I wish I could get it on my iPad.
I will say it took me down a one-way street the other day the wrong way.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's interesting. You can actually have the Apple Map and the Google Map running at the same time. It'll kill your battery really quick, but you can have them running at the same time, and they'll both fight it out. They'll both talk and tell you what to do. Turn left and turn, whatever. And it's really interesting to hear them both go. For those of you who are kind of still listening in, Google got kicked to the curb when Apple created their new maps. And people raved and raved and raved, we want the Google Maps back. So now Google has their map back as an application. The negative thing is that it doesn't see your contacts automatically unless you sync to Google, and I've had mixed results with that. So if I wanted to find Daryl's house over here, and by the way, there's a lot of clicks on this thing to get to somebody like Daryl's house. If I do a search up here for Daryl, even though you're in my contact list, you're not going to show up here. This is like Daryl's Barbecue in Rock Hill. So it's not synced to my contacts right now, even though my contacts are syncing through Gmail. So that's a little bit of a problem. I don't really like that. And it also doesn't integrate into Siri, which means that if I wanted to say, I'll just do it right now. I need directions to Daryl Orcutt. Now, that's obviously going to pull, look, it got your name wrong.
Daryl Orcutt.
And I'll select you.
Getting directions to Daryl Orcutt. Home.
So it doesn't have that doesn't have the integration. This kicks me over to the other map, to the Siri map, which for me, that's how I live. When I leave one person, I go in, I sit in my car, and I say where to go next.
Scotty, I just want you to know next time
Yes.
To get on? Do we need a password or anything?
No, there's no password required to get onto this meeting. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Nope.
'Cause
I can host.
I got on some way tonight. Don't ask me how.
Well, I'm glad that you did.
A
Yeah,
little,
I can
little
host.
update on Joan.
Yeah.
A little update on Joan. The dog is still sick,
Mm.
not doing well. So she said she was going to skip tonight.
Yeah, she lost another dog not too long ago, about a year and a half ago. Yeah, and I know she.
Yeah, it's been maybe longer than that, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Good night.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining.
you.
I'll see you soon.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Scotty.
Scotty.